News.
The textbook is called Russian History 1945 to the early 21st century and makes numerous false claims. According to excerpts published by Russian media, school children will now be taught that human civilization could have come to an end had Vladimir Putin not started his special military operation against Ukraine. It's the first officially approved history book to be used in Russian schools which mentions events in Ukraine. Well, let's cross live to Russia editor for the new book. What exactly does it contain?
Well, it's basically a good example of how the Russian government weaponizes history, or in other words, uses past events, real or imaginary, to justify the Kremlin's current actions. One key theme in this book is that it presents recent history as Russia defending itself against an aggressive West, which has created Ukraine to spite Russia and use it as a battering ram. That's the phrase that the textbook uses, a battering ram against Russia. And many of the assertions in this book are demonstrably false. For example, it claims that until 2014, 80% of Ukrainian residents said that Russian was their native tongue. Well, that's not true, because numerous surveys have shown that the figure is around a third of Ukrainians who said that they spoke Russian as their mother tongue, while more than half, up to 60% of Ukrainians, said that they spoke Ukrainian. And another example is how the history textbook presents the events of 2014, when Russia first attacked Ukraine. It described the fighting in eastern Ukraine as a popular uprising by Russian speakers, and it makes no mention of the military hardware or military personnel dispatched by Russia to Ukraine's eastern Donbass region. And the list goes on. There are claims that Ukraine was intending to acquire nuclear weapons, biological weapons, possibly to use against Russian speakers in Ukraine, or possibly to attack Russia. The thrust of the book is very clear. President Putin had to start his so-called special military operation in Ukraine to defend Russia and potentially preserve civilization on planet Earth.
Vitaly, thank you very much indeed for that.